Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon to everyone. I see we have 20 viewers on in the virtual space. I hope everyone can see and hear us. Please send across your chat, send across your communication so we can definitely know that you are on and we are live. All right. Warm welcome again and pleasant afternoon. Hope everyone's doing safe. I know we're still going through struggles and challenges that the pandemic has brought on, but let's keep pushing through as long as we have each other. My name is Melanie Barif, Senior Manager for Service Delivery at Conduent. I feel very honored to have been given this opportunity to be on this platform today, and I will be introducing our guest in just a few minutes, or should I say seconds, maybe. Now, I just want to take just a quick second to focus on our theme, which is jobs of the future in customer experience management. What we will be discussing are topics that relate, or should I say, components that relates to this topic and how persons can have a better understanding of customer experience management within the BPO space. All right, on with me today, I have Mistress Dea Dennis Morris. Dea, say hi. Dea.
Hello.
There is Client Relations Director at Teleperformance, Ms. Tamara Moulton, Director of Operations at Collective Solutions International. Tamara, you can wave to the crowd. And Mr. Carol Bell, Director of Operations at Advanced Call Center Technology. Thank you so much for having us on this platform. I hope everyone can hear us, can see us, and again, thanks for joining us. All right, without further ado, I'd like to give just a quick overview of the Jamaica global services sector. Jamaica has a demonstrated track record in BPO, which is the business process outsourcing, and 4 of the top 10 global BPO companies having a presence here locally in Jamaica. We possess as a country impressive credentials in this industry, which is underpinned by cutting edge telecommunications infrastructure. That is one. A talented English-speaking labor pool, and proximity to the Americas. I'm sure that is why a lot of our clients, it's their first choice of direct investment. Now, as a country, we have cemented ourselves as the outsourcing hub of the Caribbean and the ideal nearshoring location for partners looking to access skilled professionals. Jamaica's GSS employs over 43,000 individuals across approximately 75 entities operating locally. And I repeat that number, guys, 43,000 individuals. You heard the Prime Minister right. 75 to 80% of the GSS operations are services in the BPO segment, 20 to 25 in the KPO and ITO segments. The GSS project seeks to increase the amount of high value added services to 40%. So still work in progress, but we are getting there. Now, in looking at the global services sector project, in a little bit more detail, the government of Jamaica and the Inter-American Development Bank, otherwise known as the IDB, signed a loan agreement on January 24, 2019. And this is to support the implementation of a 5-year skills development program for the global services sector. And the value of this program is US $15 million. That's huge investment. Now, the project seeks to support the government of Jamaica to develop the global services sector through strengthening the pipeline of talent and strengthening the investment ecosystem to increase foreign direct investment and export of services. The global services sector is comprised of business process outsourcing, otherwise known as BPO, information technology outsourcing, otherwise known as ITO, and knowledge process outsourcing, otherwise known as KPO. And for the persons who have been through the GSS apprenticeship program, I'm sure that these acronyms stay true to memory. The project is being executed by the Jamaica Promotions Corporation, otherwise known as JAMPRO. Now, the theme, I want to kind of go into the theme a little bit more in explaining customer experience. And again, I remind us of the theme, which is jobs of the future in customer experience management. Now, customer experience is the impression that your customers have of your brand throughout all aspects of the buyer's journey. So it has to do from to post purchase. Why is this important? Why is this an important concept in business? And the reason for that is that it affects how your brand or your product is viewed by the customer. It affects your company's bottom line, including revenue and its viability. And when we say viability, we mean the customer's loyalty and long-term business growth. Think about when you have that favorite makeup that you like to purchase, that favorite pair of shoes, or that favorite pair of jeans. And no, gentlemen, you like True Religion. Is it the brand? Is it the quality? It's about the experience, right? So just wanted to give you a quick tidbit. Now, I have a few questions for my panelists, and Dea, I'm going to pull on you first, if you don't mind.
No, I don't mind.
I'll ask Dea to share her journey, her experience in the GSS, and to tell us a little bit about Teleperformance and her role at that organization.
Thank you very much, Melanie. All right, so my name is Dea Dennis Morris, affectionately called Wendy. Dea started Alliance One in 2009, immediately after graduating high school. After her graduation, it was clear that she was unable to afford college, and so she made a decision to work. She started as an agent and was promoted to a supervisor 3 years later. It was through her hard work, her high display of professionalism, and consistency with effectively managing a team that she was further promoted to an assistant call center manager. Dea has played multiple roles in the organization, such as a lead engagement coordinator, guest speaker at our Jump program events, and also a motivational speaker to our new hires. Dea has led multiple charges as it relates to the growth and development in the organization. She has mentored several of her peers and also changed the lives of many through her daily motivational stories. Dea is known to speak the hard truth. With her honest persona, there's not a need to question her heart for the job. Dea has made significant strides in her career and personal development. She has evolved and is currently a director of operations with direct oversight to over 1,000 full-time employees. Dea is hardworking and displays a great deal of passion for excellence. She's a mother, a wife, and a past student of the Montego Bay Community College, where I pursue my bachelor's degree in finance and management. Teleperformance has been around, in Jamaica for as long as I have been with the company. And we were acquired by Teleperformance in 2008, I believe. And now we have grown from an environment where we had 500 employees to now Teleperformance have over 4,000 employees in different sectors, from the agent right up to different management role. We are a company that hold true to our values, our 5 core values, and we live our values daily. We believe in promoting from within, and that's just a synopsis of who I am and what my company is about.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that quick historical journey there. It really stays true to how you can move from the front line to the executive chair. And I hope that our viewers and listeners who are on, they do get and feel enthused by your story. I have one more question for you before I move on to another panelist. Explain how customer experience management has changed over the years with your experience and the length of your tenure at this organization. Over the past decade, how have you seen the change in customer experience management?
Thank you very much for that question. Now, the BPO view 10 years ago is definitely not the same as today. 10 years ago, we had no way to measure customer interaction. We only knew how a customer felt based on an escalated after call, and that would go to superior, and those calls would normally be our dissatisfiers. Now we can monitor customer satisfaction through live surveys. From the surveys, we are able to identify other areas of opportunity, such as the issue resolution, customer satisfaction, first and last call resolution, and also the customer effort, which is more like how likely are you to recommend. We use the net promoter scoring to improve areas of opportunities. There are many other ways now to evaluate and improve our employees and customers alike. A key point to note, a good customer support leads to brand loyalty, which means more customer for our clients, which will definitely in turn create growth and opportunity and employment in this sector. We can also look at how technology has evolved in the world and how it has improved the way we do business in the BPO. A decade ago, our primary focus was banking, and the only medium to communicate was phone. Now we have evolved with the time. We find that the BPO market has extended. We're doing traveling, repairs. There's so many other aspects of business that we're covering. Our medium of communication has extended to webmail, live chats, and phones. So you can agree with me that the business need has changed and the client expectation alike.
Thank you so much. And I just want to piggyback off your response. I know you've made mention of the Net Promoter Score, also surveys, and I know NPS, as we usually call it, can be done through surveys. It can be done with a post call, whether through email or IVR, which is the voice response system. Now, can you highlight to us the various channels to interact with customers? Because over the years as well, the channels of interaction has changed. So just highlight to us the various channels of interaction with customers and any change that you see in the future. How do we expect the change from these clients?
We have, as I'd mentioned, we do the web chats, right? We do, webmail, we do live chats, and we still use the phone. But in this era with the live chat, you are basically speaking with a customer. You don't have to be on hold, or even with IVR, as you mentioned, you'll have a log of customers that may be on hold that you may have disconnected with, that you can just give a quick call back. So yes, the live chats and the web mails, and I think that's about it. And phone, of course, is what we're really focusing on. What was the other question that you asked? Sorry.
No, how do you anticipate the change in the client's expectation with these different interactions? Because when I look back at 20 years ago, primarily in the BPO, we were more focused on transaction processing and not so much a call center. So you can look on that trajectory and the historical footprint that BPO has on the island. So from where we were, where we are today, and the expectation for the future, as our theme says, call center of the future, really. What's your expectation of the different channels and the change in the expectation from the clients?
I'm going to turn that over to Tamara to expound a bit on that for me.
Sure, no worries. Thanks, Dea.
No problem. You're on mute, Tamara.
Hi, yes. And
thanks, Tamara. Yes.
Melanie.
Yes.
Could you just rephrase the last part of the question, please?
Right, to highlight the various channels. I believe they highlighted the various channels to which we interact with our customers, or should I say in which we interact with our customers, and the change in expectations from the client. So go ahead, I'm sorry.
So she alluded to some of the different channels of communication, emails, chats, phones, etc. However, as an organization, we have to align those communication methodologies in our strategic plan, because our strategic plan must align with the client's expectation. What the client is looking for is customer longevity. How do we communicate across these various mediums to ensure that the understandability of the process or the method of fixing a problem is understood by the customers? They are looking for customer longevity in terms of repeat customer coming back to purchase or to visit or to buy a vacation package. So the clients are looking for a better customer interaction, and that comes from us as the vendors to ensure that the persons we're hiring are competent enough to communicate effectively across these mediums and cascading effectively what the clients are looking for.
Okay. Thank you so much for breaking that out for us, Tamara. I'm glad they have put you on the spot, because now we're going to ask of you to share your journey, your experience in GSS. Tell us a little bit about Collective Solutions International and your role.
All right. Listening to the program this morning in other booths, I recognize quite a few of the leaders in the industry started out as an agent. So it's very cliche for me to come and say, hey, I started as an agent, because it is what it is.
Right.
Well, so it is also my story. I finished Mount Alvernia High in 19 something. I can't tell you 19 when. I still look young, so I can't tell you the age. So I finished high school, and my mother, being a single parent, she didn't have the money to send me to the Consee College. I wanted to go to that college, but you know how it is with country picnic, and you can't afford it. Right. So I started out at an in-band store, and I didn't want to sell tourists because I can't smile all day. So I tried my foot in something else. So I happened to enter the free zone at Bethel, and that was in 1998, March. I won't forget it. My first job was 1998, March. Yes, Carol is looking like he's really. Yes,
and I don't mean to interrupt Tamara, but we were talking yesterday, Carol, and Tamara and I started out at Bethel in 1997, shortly after high school as well. So Tamara and my story were pretty much aligned.
Yeah. So I transitioned into NPS, formerly MRS, and then I moved into e-services. There I spent 8-9 years. I started as an agent there, but about within 6 months, I was the second agent to be promoted as a supervisor. So most of my life at e-services was a supervisor. Right. I somehow happened to transition through all the acquisitions of e-services into ACS into Xerox into Conduit into Continuum. So I have been around quite a long time. So having a very fine appreciation of all the roles except training, I have been in different leadership roles, quality supervisor, operations, and today I am a director of operations at Collective Solutions. So who is Collective Solutions? We are a small BPO in Sandy Bay. We were housed here to support the job market in the western side of the island, supporting the Westmoreland persons, the Hanoverians, and we're here to do that. So we just started in 2017 at this location. We started in 2016 in the free zone, but really our physical space here in Sandy Bay is from 2017. And in a nutshell, that is my history in the BPO. It's very cliche, but it also sells the message that if you're entering the industry, enter the industry with a passion, with a purpose, and you also realize that most of the leaders who operate in the BPO, we started here, that demonstrates the amount of potential we have as Jamaicans. It also demonstrates the opportunities that the BPO industry supports for the Jamaicans.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Tamara. And for the listeners and viewers, I just want to confirm that Sandy Bay is in Hanover, because there's a Sandy Bay in Clarendon as well. So if the Clarendonians want to go across, no problem.
Yes, it is in Hanover.
Absolutely. So I just want to point that out. While you are in the chair, Tamara, no pun intended, highlight some of the factors that are shaping the customer's experience. I mean, we have seen BPO become more innovative since the pandemic.
Yep.
So can you just point out some of the factors that are shaping the customer experience?
Sure.
Sure, go ahead. I'm sorry. There's a second part to it, but I'll ask after you answer.
Not a problem. All right. So some of the factors that really shape the customer experience, and I will allude to the fact that I started out so early when we're typing customers' needs on paper back in the days using the green screens. But now we have evolved so much. And while we have evolved, in my perception, is customers are seeking something that is intangible. We're
Right.
seeking the responsiveness in the resolution. We're seeking someone to be honest with us, someone who is empathetic. We're looking for how easy was this interaction? How was this customer service agent rapport? Did this person speak to me in a way it was memorable for me to go and say, I spoke to a flow agent and Melanie was very, very superb. She spoke well, she engaged, she listened to my problem. So we're, as customers, I recognize that the evolution pathway is becoming more humanistic. So we're looking for elements that are intangible. And that is how I believe that the customer experience has also evolved, utilizing those factors.
That's right. That's right. Thank you so much. All right. The second part to that question, how has that influenced a change in how businesses communicate and serve their customers? I think you alluded to it a little bit, but if you can be a little bit more detailed so our listeners can understand.
How business interacts. So, as archaic as it may sound, normally you look back in the old days, you find that companies communicate in the newspaper. And you sit on your veranda and you wait on the newspaper to come to hear the stories. But now in this terrain of fluid consumerism, it is absolutely unacceptable. So, organizations have that mandate to ensure customer experience is a part of their strategic plan. And we must design opportunities or areas how we communicate fluidly. And that you recognize birth quite a few things. Social media. You recognize a lot of companies now are integrating their communication strategy or the matrix as a part of, as using social media as a part of that plan. We're ensuring too that we're setting up IT systems such as chatbots to be more responsive as a somewhat a business continuity. So if you're calling in and the call line is a little bit crowded, you find that they say, hey, press number 2 to go to a chatbot if your issues are 1, 2, 3. So that integration, you find also that it is also part of the responsibility of the company to ensure we train and develop our employees to respond in these ways that find customers coming back. So with that encounter, we realized too that we have more 24-hour service centers. Most of our clients, they're 24 hours. And we recognize too, because customers are on the go, they're moving fast, they're using their lunch time, they're using their break time. We also utilize data analytics to recognize that immediate need and implement some self-service options. So most of our clients know we're recognizing they're training their customers to self-serve themselves because of that need for ease of interaction and responsiveness. So I believe the inclusion of training and technology from a business perspective, we have to get onto line and to integrate those aspects into how we serve our customers and how we really influence change in the business terrain.
Absolutely. I'm glad you mentioned social media because I just want to get this simple. Our customers are not only the clients we serve, those who invest or the end users on the phone. Our customers are also internal. It is as simple as those we employ. And pre-employment calls for a lot of promotions as well. I believe we're on this platform for a reason. So I'm glad you touched on that point, Tamara. Very interesting. Carol, I'd like to bring your journey to the table, sir. Just tell us about your journey in the GSS industry, if you can speak to your career growth and tell us a little bit about advanced call center technologies and your role there.
All right, thank you for having me. Good afternoon, everyone. So it's a bit different for me, starting off in the BPO sector. I started in 2013. For me, when I just heard about the BPO sector, I was thinking of just pastime until I actually get a job. Just leaving NCU, I was searching for a job in the medtech field wasn't available at the time. So migrated to Montego Bay to seek employment from Mandeville. So I was looking for a job as a customer service rep. Started off in training. It was good, meet a lot of great people. And then within what I thought would be 6 months, become a year, I advanced to team lead at the time, then grew to, I think I've gone through almost most of the roles. I went into a supervisor role, QA role, trainer, once a compliance officer, and then to a manager, and for 2 years now, a director for advanced call center technologies. I mean, starting off, as I said, it was looking at it as a job, but getting to know the GSS sector and the different careers portfolio that it has available, the perspective of it is no longer a job, but it's actually a profession. And I think it was Dea who mentioned earlier that one of the biggest highlight is that the advancements opportunities are really from within.
Yes.
So starting off as an agent, if we're looking for a manager, then the best way is also to look within so persons can grow and advance their career. When we look at the different skills that are available within the sector, I mean, as a teacher, you could advance to become a trainer. We have IT tech support. We have sales personnel. So even if you go in bachelor's of marketing and sales, the career opportunity is available for you. We have human resource, social working, accounting, and it continues. So as a team rightly said, jobs of the future in
Yes.
customer experience management, it is available. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, I mean, as for ACT, ACT was founded in 1997. It was really a US based company, established in Jamaica in 2014. And the main area of expertise is really to provide contact center and back office support services. We provide services for some of the top companies in the United States. And we also believe in what we call an end to end customer satisfaction. What it means is that while we drive to provide customer service for our clients, our internal customers, which is our staff, is also what we strive to have transparency and create a fun and rewarding work environment. Um, as a leader for this center, we have over 1,000 employees as well. We are driven by six principles. The first is to make expectations very clear, make all rewards achievable, provide continuous feedback to our staff, and when we do correct behaviors, we do so privately while we reward publicly. And last but not least, to believe in our employees. And believe in our employees stands a very or big way because it's not just about having reward sessions, but also you may pass one of your employees in the break room. You can give a little encouragement, right? Maybe it's not their best month in performance. I know you can do better. I know you have it in you. You're smart. You're capable. I'm just expecting more from you. Those little phrases go a long way with those employees. So that is basically what we are for ACT and my journey.
Absolutely. I mean, you could never have said it better, Carol. It a little goes a long way. And a lot of the times you have an employee who is on the brink of giving up for some reason, and that one conversation in that second that you encourage them, it really turns them around. So that is a very, very good point. So thank you so much for bringing that. Um, for humans and the personal connection, why is it so critical to customer experience, Carol? Kind of, give us some information on that.
All right. The best way to put this is why did the customer cross the road? I mean, I think Jamaica overall has the most churches as well as shops. However, you'd find that I live at Block A. However, I travel all the way to Block 9 to purchase some goods, even
Yeah.
though there are several shops within Block A to Block 9. So why did I cross the road? And it is really because of personal connection.
Yeah.
And personal connection is the most critical element in providing any type of customer experience, whether it be goods or services. Because what it does, it creates a relationship with your client, it builds trust, it excites communication, and
Yeah.
it shows that you care. And when we talk about even the bot system, because we utilize the bot system to care for some technical aspect, it cannot be a total resolution. And the reason for that is because the human element is missing from the bot system. And that's the reason why we cross the road. And that's the reason why customer or personal connection is so critical. Because when we look at a task, a customer calling basic issue to fix an issue, but they also made mention of something personal, maybe something about their child. The reason they call in was not really about their child, it was to fix the issue. But the fact that they mention it, then it's only the human element within us to ask, how is that child doing? And that now creates a lasting impact on that customer. And that customer can say, wow, this conversation with Melanie today was really nice. And it leaves a lasting impact that brings about loyalty. And then that customer now becomes not only loyal, but also becomes an advocate for your company. And that's the reason why personal connection is so critical.
Absolutely, Carol. I mean, again, this is taking a little goes a long way, but with the customer, as in the end user. And the end user experience is very critical to the success of the business. You mentioned bot. For those who are listening on, can you just explain to them what bot is or what it means? I know for us, we might be familiar with that term, but can you explain to them what it means?
Sure. So the bot system is basically, I would call it an IVR system, but it's more so of an artificial intelligence. What
Right.
it does, it captures suggested phrases or issues, and it provides the best in line resolution. For example, if a customer calling in with an issue, the first response is to find out the person name. So automatically the bot would ask, what is your name? Then you provide a response. The bot would then follow up with a question to find out what is the issue you're having. And based on the issue, it has steps and sequences of resolution based on your response. So they are all automated and generic responses based on the situation.
Right. Thank you very much for that explanation. And for those persons who are listening on, I hope you're sharing your comments, your chats, you're sending across communication, guys. For those who are listening on, recently there are some locations of KFC that you can order meals from using WhatsApp. So when you WhatsApp the number and you get that automated response, that's really an example of the bot feature. And there are a lot of call centers who are now using this feature. The BPO here in Jamaica, the global services sector, we do have companies that engage the bot system as a part of running their operations. And it also impacts the customer experience. So just wanted to put that out there. Just want to circle back to you, Dea. Tell me, how does the experience of the employee impacts the customer's experience, creating that recipe for success? When you look back at your journey, and maybe not only your journey, the journey of us here on this panel, and the journey of some persons you have worked with, how does the experience of the employee impacts the customer's experience?
Yeah, and as Carol had mentioned earlier, going to the different shops, going to base, you're looking for quality. Now, the experience of the agent, of course, or the employee will definitely impact the interaction of the customer. How? Now, we can look at if you are in the business for a very long time, you're knowledgeable of the process, you know exactly how to treat a customer. Your aim is to get a high net promoter score. So you're going to, of course, listen to that customer. You're going to try to meet the customer need. You're going to do everything just to gain the customer's confidence and have the customer believe that you are who they were hoping to speak to when they initiated that call. Now, if you're very young to the business, not having much experience, you'll find that the customer may be a little bit uncomfortable with the delivery. So the more tenured or the more experienced you are handling customers, the more they'll feel like this is who they want to talk to. They'll feel like their issues are being resolved. So it makes the communications run very much smoother, and of course the end result being a issue resolution.
Okay, thank you very much. As you mentioned that, and kind of picking away from your response and what Karen said earlier, we are in the era of digitization. I mean, we spoke about NPS, a lot of that survey or customer experience tracking is done digitally. We talk about giving the support, whether pre, during, or post purchase. So, with the digitization and technology enabled services, Karen, let me know. IT and tech support is a big component of customer experience. Explain to us what does tech support entails and highlight some of the various roles and functions associated with that area.
All right, thank you. So, tech support, as you rightly said, it goes along with the entire increase in technology, right? And once there is actually a demand for tech support in the global service, it's really based on the fact that a lot of customers are actually moving along with the new era. The era is now a digitization era. We talked about it before, where customers are moving to self-help options. And with these self-help options, it means that they have to be somewhat technologically inclined. And as a result, it opens the sector to have different ranges for tech support personnel. Tech support, I would say, ranges from tier 1 to 3, and it can also be internal and external. What I mean by this is that external really cater to the needs of your clients. So, for example, we currently provide service to one of America's largest telecommunication network, that's AT&T. And in this case, we provide technical support for them for tier 1 and 2. However, as a company, we also have to provide tech support internally to ensure that we have the correct networking and that we also have hardware set up properly, and that would have been our tier 3 tech support. So for our tier 1, those are instances where we help customer resolve like technical problems associated with a product or service. And we usually provide communication, whether it be over the phone, emails, web chat, and this is a step-by-step solution in resolving whether it be an hardware or software problem. But while we look at the various fields that is available in technical support for the GSS sector, we can think of hardware technician. These would have been the technicians that repair and manage the servers as well as the computer. But they're responsible for a wide range of networking issues, whether it be in maintenance, installation, upgrades, troubleshooting. We can also look at our help desk analysts, also called help desk support. And this would have also been tier 1 or tier 2 reps. These
Okay.
reps would help to analyze whether it be answering questions, doing basic troubleshooting, resetting password, or resolving any technical issues. Maybe the computer screen is flickering. They would provide those resolution to our internal as well as our external customers. The next role we have would have been our network administration or we can say a network engineer. Even though the two roles focus on networks, they actually have a slightly different roles. For network engineers, we focus mainly on like designing and developing networks, while for the network administrator, their primary role would to be maintain whether it be the network as well as any administrating job that has to get done. So the network engineers focus on designing and developing while the administrator maintain them.
Okay. All right. I know we're running out of time. I just want to throw just a few more questions out there before we wrap up. Circling back to you, Tamara, there are various channels by which we provide service. Now, how does the customer experience differ among the industry segments by firms within the GSS? I know Dea mentioned several channels by which we communicate, and you also, you gave details on that. But how do they differ among the industry segments?
Okay, so the different industry segments, I probably will just stick to about 2 or 3. So let's talk about travel, for example, like a cruise ship industry, or healthcare, or fashion, like Fashion Nova or something of that sort.
Right.
So you have to tailor your customer engagement according to the industry you're operating in. And why I say that, if you're looking towards an employee who's operating in the healthcare industry, we're going to be expecting someone who's actively listening. But whilst he or she is actively listening, they should be competent enough to identify the emotional cue of the customer they're talking to at the time and address that cue, whether it's an empathetic nature or that of something happy. You gave birth to a child. You don't just ignore it and say, may I have the name of the child? You want to say congratulations. And if someone say to you, your mom died of cancer, you want to be very empathetic and not move away from what was being said. When you look at a cruise line industry, you're looking for someone who's upbeat and excited on the call, and they're happy for you going on a cruise, because they don't even know, as the customer service agents, we want to put ourselves in the customer's shoe at all times. For example, Jamaicans love to pay a partner to do something, so likewise at customer. So be happy for the customer going on a cruise and make it genuine. Other industry, Fashion Nova, you want to recognize that the person speaks about a particular garment, compliment on the garment, the color, the shape, the design. I think we want to be a little bit more flexible in how we operate as customer service agents, and that is a big attribute we look for when we're hiring persons to fill a particular job against the profile design for the particular industry. So that is how I would phrase that question.
Thank you. And just the last question for you, because there's a notion that there is a critical link between customer experience and employee experience to achieve great success. We explored that earlier. As such, in the GSS, customer experience specialists are in essence brand ambassadors for the product or service they represent. What are some of the qualities that firms look for in persons applying for those customer service or customer service experience related roles?
All right, and I just mentioned a few of those earlier. So we're looking for good communicators,
Right.
Someone who enunciates well and very fluid in your communication style. We're looking for someone who's empathetic, who understands very well the customer's emotional balance at that time, and how do we flex our communication style to meet that customer. We're looking for good listeners. We all can hear, but we don't listen. And the listening factor makes a difference, because we heard that one word that makes the customer very, very, very in appreciation of what you just did.
Right.
Flexibility, not just only in our communication, but also the way we operate. Every call center will be different. Every client will be different. So the flexibility in how we operate as employees, we're really expecting some leverage from that. Another aspect we look for too is, I believe that's it for me in the most refined states. I believe those are some of the key factors we look for. Not having CXCs will train you, because most call centers offer a 1 week training course. And we recognize too that Heart is partnering with GSS, and Heart is also partnering with a lot of the call centers. So the training in house, and my colleagues here talk about teachers who are working with us. I currently had a teacher about 4 months ago. So there are competent persons in the workforce that will train you if you don't have the requisite certification. Heart is a part of the bandwagon. We are part of it because we have a mandate to support our customers. So I believe those, for me, are the critical facets we must look for when we're looking for customer service agents.
Thank you, Tamara. And just going back to Carol for just the last question, each opportunity, they do require varying levels of skill and profile qualification. You mentioned quite a few roles. Can you speak to viable career opportunities that are available with your organization at this point?
So career opportunities. So from customer service rep, we also have technical support is also one field that we specialize in because we provide telecommunication services. And when we talk about training teachers as well, because they already have the expertise in that area. Social workers, we do provide like on-site therapy sessions because working these jobs, we know, especially in the pandemic, we're faced with a lot of things that impact personal life, which too can impact the work relationship. So we have on-site counselor, HR role as well, HR assistants. Then we have what we call workforce management, and these are really for workforce management is really basic entry-level requirement. But to know how to use simple systems like the Avoyas system, and just having an open mindset to learn new things as well. It doesn't necessarily require a bachelor's degree or a certificate. Once you have that willing mindset, then that opportunity is actually available. Also, the role of accounting. We have persons in business administration, auditing for files, front desk clerk, receptionist. So it is several roles or functions that is actually available within the BPO sector.
Okay, thanks. So guys, you heard it. There are several roles available. You heard about the qualifications. You heard about the opportunities of growth, not only in the organization, but your personal growth that is being supported. And they are just to wrap up with you, because I'm sure we have some tertiary graduates listening on. And some tertiary graduates do not view the BPO, specifically customer experience management, a viable career opportunity. From your experience in the sector, and you told us that you recently graduated, what would you say to those persons now?
Yes. I'd say to those persons, take Dea as an example of one of those, or Carol, who mentioned earlier that he left NCU and just went straight in. I left high school, I came straight in. The stigma about the BPO needs to be erased. Do your own research, I must say, because the negatives are just outrunning the positives of what's happening in the BPO. You've heard the multiple job roles that's available. The nurses, the doctors, we have them here. And the career path is so clear. You don't have to have a degree, but if you do, here's where you can use your expertise. And I mean, we're growing, we're evolving. We could use you as a tertiary graduate to help aid in developing the BPO, add your nose into what we already have to make it better. But this is the place. I mean, it's underrated based on the negatives. But let me tell you, the persons in the BPO are very highly paid, especially in certain category compared to the public sector. And I'll just leave it at that. This is the place for you. You don't need to be looking anywhere else. Trust me.
All right, thank you so much for that, Dea. Just going to give you an opportunity right now to identify some of the career opportunities within your organization in customer experience management across the various industries that your firm serves. And this is just to close things out.
Okay, no problem. So we have the customer experience managers. We have the operations team. In the operation teams, there are supervisors, team leads, etc. Now, these are just for customer experience. We're not going to talk about the other opportunities because I know Carol mentioned some of those. But just sticking to the operation team, it's far and it's wide, and it there are just multiple roles here at Teleperformance now that I'll invite all my tertiary graduates just come in. The opportunity is just here at TP waiting for you.
Right. All right. Thank you so much to our panelists for joining today. It's been a wonderful session. I have to hurry and wrap up before they chase us off of here because I feel as if I would keep the conversation going. It's very good to talk with colleagues and persons with whom I can say we have been and are still a product of BPO. We started out very young and we grew through frontline roles and we are here now. And we can encourage others. I mean, we can now say that this is not just a free zone, it is a career path. And I mean, the pandemic, it has given a different perspective to the BPO sector and GSS in general. You know, we have persons from the hospitality industry, from the medical industry. They want to hop over because it now seems more viable and stable, mind you. So I just want to say that. So from today's discussion, I can say we have seen the change in nature of the customer experience management, moving from transaction processing over into call center. There you've mentioned the different channels as well as Tamara. We have identified some of the emerging roles. Carol, you touched on the levels that are required to kind of move into IT and tech. You know, you have some persons, they are more techie, they don't want to do the regular customer service job or how they view that. And also that there are jobs require, these jobs I should say, or industries, they require different levels. It's not only frontline, there are professionals as well that these industries, or should I say companies, are seeking to employ. So please guys, don't limit yourself. In the BPO and the GSS, it's endless. It's limitless. So I want to say it's very good to have all on here today. Before I go, I just want to say we've made mention of the GSS apprenticeship program. I know JAMPRO, they are in talks, and Tamara, you've made very brief mention of the fact that a lot of the companies within the GSS, they are being supported through learning and development, and PARS is a stakeholder in that. They actually facilitate these courses. I know that there are talks for the supervisor management course that's currently going on to be renewed for January. Also, there's a leadership and management course coming up. I believe it's a level 4 program. So stay tuned, guys. Stay tuned. There's a lot happening across the GSS project. They're taking on a lot, as you can see from the investment, and there's a lot to benefit from. So come on over. Let's be one family, operating, working, and building the country through the GSS. Have yourselves a great day. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you too. Bye.